Probably because we're late today.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so welcome. It's week 4.
4.
I know.
I can't believe it's already been a month.
Technically, it's been 5 weeks because we had
A
setup week. But it's been 4 weeks of trying to get in the groove of the habits. Now, I know people think that like a month is a long time, but it's really not that long of a time. Especially because if you think about it, like week 1, you were kind of like just kind of getting in the mind space of trying to think this way of the habits, and you really probably haven't gotten in a groove of what you're gonna probably fine tune even more up until like this week, really. So a really interesting exercise you should probably do for yourself is go back and look at your pre-CK food log, and then like in order, go to week 1, read that food log, read week 2, and then look at week 4 and see how the progression has changed. Yeah, already.
In just a month.
Yeah, and how much like the choices and the changes in your choices have made, and just imagine the more consistent and more weeks that get compiled on top of that, and how much more change is going to happen. Because I think one of the big things that starts to happen whenever you get in a month into anything, 2 weeks, 3 weeks into anything, it's like, and it's a big change, people start getting discouraged because life happens and it's not something that they're necessarily used to doing yet. It's a disruption to your normal routine, what you were doing pre-CK, and so you're having to use a lot of willpower and a lot of energy to try to change tracks. And so when things start popping up, you start making excuses. And so, and then maybe progress may have been slowing down a little bit this week. And we're going to talk more about, progress. And I actually think they got a little pep talk today about the waves of progress. Mm-hmm. Or they got it this week about how you cannot predict in a linear fashion what your progress is going to do. Because it's really going to look more like up, and then we level out, or we go back down, then we go back up, and then it's like the zigzaggy type of journey that you can't necessarily predict. But what you can do is you can control your choices. You control what you put into your body and what you do on a daily basis. And hopefully, even through the challenge, you're going to learn this even more, is that what you do now, even if it's not going as fast as you want it to go, this is still the path that healthy living is. So regardless of if you're trying to lose a ton of weight or, reach this, this big goal, the path is the same. It's like healthy people do certain habits, and in varying degrees, you keep at this path, eventually you'll get there. So that's a pep talk you can give yourself, whenever you're at the psycho person upstairs telling you otherwise. But let's get to the topics of this week. So it was planning for the unexpected. So this is kind of perfect with, the like people running out of motivation or, something like that. Like unexpected things are going to happen, and you're going to have this perfect plan in your head, and then all of a sudden it goes up in smokes. Well, what are you going to do when your plan that you intended to happen doesn't go through? Well, that's like plan B, and then maybe a plan C. And so your assignments this week, we asked you to, the first one in every week is a 3-day meal plan. And that's really having you sit down and plan for what is to come. Not just your food. It's really like you sit down and say, how many kids have practice?
Who's eating tonight?
Yeah, exactly. And then the second one was pick a freezer meal. Now, I love having backup freezer meals.
Oh, me too.
Oh my gosh. I made chicken enchilada soup last week. I ate half, and then I froze half. Do you have any of your favorite, freezer stuff?
Oh, yeah, my kids didn't want to eat my food that I made the other night. I did a sheet pan meal, and so I had chicken bone broth and rice that I'd done, and pieces of chicken in the Instapot, and I just grabbed one of those and unthawed it, and they ate that.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many times freezer, like, even if I haven't made, if it's not a recipe that I've made, like having freezer veggies and meats and stuff. Like, I'm a big seafood person. I love keeping frozen shrimp and frozen individual like fillets of fish, because they number one, they defrost like super quick. But then also, you know, we talked a little bit about this last week. I think like making like salmon patties and the turkey burgers, and individually wrapping those as well, and having those on hand just to grab and pull. You know, that is going to save you in those times whenever you're just like, you're tired, the kids or somebody's been like going crazy and your schedule's all out of whack, and you literally just do not have time to cook, much less think about what you want to eat. And so you're going to be pulling for those emergency meals and when you need them most, because you don't necessarily want to give up on your goals, but then you're also just out of brain juice. And so you really need to have those in place to, you know, help yourself out whenever life gets kind of crazy. So we asked you to pick a freezer meal. Some of the coaches, they, like Jerry, she loves to do the sweet potato lasagna. Mm-hmm. I like to freeze those in individual type of containers.
I like that too. I have had a ton of spaghetti sauce and just made a whole one that I like defrosted the day before so that everybody could have it.
Hope does the CK spaghetti sauce and like makes it like big batches of it. And so if she doesn't want to use all of it, like that's something that would be more versatile even than like, say you didn't want sweet potato lasagna, or you did want sweet potato lasagna, you could already have the sauce already made.
Yeah.
And then just defrost it, you know, and assemble and bake.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Just thought of that. Look, I got all kinds of hearts right there.
Breakfast for dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Plan B.
Yeah, and I joke about this, like in the holidays, it's like October through December. It's almost like I don't meal prep. I call it winging it. And that's literally using the quick fix meals like all the time. Now, I don't suggest everybody doing that because you probably get pretty bored. But again, having a list of quick go-to meals is so crucial. Again, to save brain space. Yours is
tacos.
Taco Tuesday. She talked about it last week.
We had tacos last night.
And Taco Tuesday, yeah. And then there were several people on the page that I think posted that they had like taco bowls of Allie. I know Allie and Katie, they love doing taco nights. Katie and Hope said that they will waiter app like fajitas from Papitos
anywhere.
I mean, like nowadays, you know, I posted about the Walmart delivery. Like, it's kind of just so easy to do stuff. Like when you don't have time to do it now. I mean, you know, you can literally have somebody deliver a habit-filling meal to you at a certain time. Like for a price. But again, you're paying for something. Either you're gonna pay with your brain space and time, or you can pay money.
Yes.
Everything costs something. Just remember that. Whether it's time, money, health, it's all gonna cost something. You just gotta decide what you wanna pay. So quick fix meals, taco night, breakfast for dinner, breakfast for lunch, breakfast for snack. And then frozen meats and veggies are a must. Like, I always keep those in stock. One y'all started using was at Sam's.
The spiral zucchini nest. They're so good, and they cooked really quick.
Stephanie, like, she never eats plants veggies at breakfast, and now she discovered those spiral
she can
nests.
Have a hot veggie.
I know. Like, so we discussed this last week about learning to like raw plants, but I get it. Like, everybody's got their own likes and dislikes. Like, Coach Stephanie, she does not like to eat cold things, and she likes to eat cooked veggies. So now we have found a veggie that she can eat warm at breakfast.
Yeah.
And she just sautés a little nest, puts an egg on top, and it's yummy.
It's good.
And that would be a great anytime meal. Okay, and then pickup orders. We talked about pickup fajitas. Another thing you can think about doing is like picking up at a local barbecue place, like chicken.
Yeah, Dickies and Strix are a good option.
Yeah, it may be a little bit higher in the sodium, but when you're in a pinch, like I even went to Qdoba last night because we were coming back from practice. Actually, Bishop's been to Qdoba like a lot lately.
Yeah, I've been there a lot lately.
Yeah. Anyway, I asked them, I was like, can you buy meat by the pound? Just to like get like their chicken or their steak or their pork and like make your own salads and stuff at home. And they said you can if you just call ahead.
Even on the Chick-fil-A app, you can order just a grilled chicken breast.
They got an app. They got delivery.
Yeah.
Could
Just
you
a grilled
waiter
chicken
app a chicken breast?
I don't know if that's on the waiter app. You would
I'm
pay
kidding.
triple. So
I know.
if you just go there and pick it up, it's a pretty good price. You can even get two.
Okay, another thing that I do, and I used to do this quite a lot on Mondays because, Mondays is like my grocery shopping day, and usually I don't have anything to eat for lunch. And so my normal routine is go by Salad Station, get lunch, and then go to Sam's. Well, if I didn't have a snack or something for like my mid-afternoon, or if I knew that I wasn't going to cook that night, I would totally meal prep at Salad Station.
That is very smart.
Like,
I've never done that. But.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I will stack up some trays and like make up, we have the CK bowls,
Yeah.
and so if you feel like having Mediterranean with, feta and sun-dried tomatoes or whatever, or if you feel like having an Asian flavored, one, like I would make up all these different ones, and honestly, it's really not that bad of a price.
No,
like as long as
reasonable.
Yeah, and especially if you don't want to buy all the different plants.
If you're not going to eat that.
You're not going to eat
much
that
red cabbage.
Yes,
Put in your salad.
exactly. One time, I needed some sweet potatoes, and I didn't want to. Well, I didn't have them bought, and I didn't have them cooked, obviously. And they always have sweet potatoes baked at Salad Station, so I just went in there and bought 2 sweet potatoes.
That's
Now,
a good idea.
Again, it was probably way more expensive than or just one raw sweet potato. But I was paying for time, brain space, and I needed it now.
Another good idea, I forgot I got this one from Jordan, but I do it every time I go to Sam's, is buy a rotisserie chicken because they're $4.
Mm-hmm.
And so I buy one to eat that night. Like that's our meal with whatever vegetable I bought at Sam's.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's canned green beans because my people like that.
Hey,
And
Brian,
then
that's what Brian's plan is.
I buy another chicken to like slice and put in lunches or make into like chicken salad. Do something like take it off the bone.
Oh yeah,
But we eat one then like as a roasted chicken, and then I make something with the other one.
Right.
I mean they're
And it's only
$4.
Yeah,
So cheap.
that's cheaper
That's
than
a really good deal.
buying like the raw chicken and doing crock pot.
Yeah,
For sure.
you get a whole chicken.
Yeah. Another thing that I do for freezer stuff is if I had I bought like a huge pack of chicken, done it in the crock pot or it's really the Instapot. That's all I ever use my Instapot for. Is to cook chicken or meat. But I'll make a big old batch of it and I'll freeze half of that chicken. Like I literally just defrosted some that I had, and I'm gonna use it for chicken salad.
Oh, and what I did with my leftover chicken that we didn't eat the whole thing, I put it in the Instapot night before last with some carrots and onions and covered it with water and salt and pepper and peppercorns. And I followed a recipe off of Pinterest and made it into bone broth in the Instapot.
Really?
And I have like 8 quarts of bone broth now. So
Lucky
don't
there.
throw that $4 chicken out. You can save
Make
a
your
whole
own-
lot of money because bone broth is
It's
expensive.
expensive too. Yes. Man, we just gave them some good tips.
Yes.
And that
so
was
we
on the
use
fly.
that bone broth to like cook rice in for my kids,
Mm-hmm.
drink,
Yeah.
you know, do vegetables with
Well,
it.
like anytime they're in a recipe when it calls for water, like you can add a broth and it just packs that much more flavor into whatever you're working with.
Well, that is one good way to not lose motivation is to try out these tasty
Oh,
meals
for sure.
and try out some different stuff. Like haven't had Kung Pao in a while, and I thought I might need to like make that.
Right.
And now I get burnout on it.
Oh yeah, when I find a recipe, and we were actually just talking about Kung Pao this morning, because when we first created it, like I ate it all the time, and then I just burnt myself out of it, and I haven't had it in a while. But then I guess we've been doing coconut aminos and stuff, and but yeah, you know, try to branch out from your normal routine. I'd probably have to challenge everybody. You know, obviously, if you're new to Clean Kitchen and new to the challenge, new to all the recipes, maybe you every time you do cook, there's something new that you are, you know, trying. But if you have been, you know, cooking the recipes for a while, I would say try to challenge yourself to get out of your normals and see what else you like out there.
Melissa asked, are we going to get to Smart Carbs next week?
Yes, we are. Week 5. It's all about carbs and all about the
It's one of my
misunderstanding.
favorite
of
weeks.
carbs. Yes.
You learn a lot.
You do, and I think, and obviously through this whole challenge, we are not wanting you to come out of it demonizing any type of food. You know, we want you to understand the benefits of all the food groups and use them to your advantage. But you also need to make an educated decision on why you're cutting something out. You know, and I think a lot of people cut out carbs because you lose weight fast doing it. But really what you're doing is you're losing a lot of water weight because carbs, carbohydrates,
They suck up the water.
they suck up the water, they hold it. I can't remember how much it holds. It's like 4 grams
I have
of
to
water
look
or
that
something
up for
like
next
that.
week.
I don't know. It's just, yeah, so whenever you don't eat carbs, you're not holding that amount of water in it.
And so you actually weigh less because you have less water, and you look leaner because you have less water, but you're still the same. Same muscles,
Right.
same bones,
Yeah.
same fat. You
Right.
just look a little leaner.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, if you're eating less, burning more energy, yes,
I'm
you
just
will
talking
lose-
about the first
Yes,
week.
the first week, the first like de-bloat thing. Yeah. So carbs are not bad. Carbs are very essential to body composition changes, the way that you feel, the way that you sleep, all that. And we'll get into all that next week. It's going to be a good week of lessons. But anyways, that's going to wrap up week 4, you know. Start planning for those freezer meals. Now, this assignment this week was to plan a freezer meal, but you can't use it. So don't do your freezer meal and then like use it when you don't need it. It's supposed to be emergency meal. And then, you know, you'll be getting some examples, or I think you've already gotten examples of eating out. Again, go to all the coaches' Instagram pages, the main pages. We always will show examples of what we do, what we choose whenever we're eating out. But really, when it comes down to it, we're just choosing the habits. So if you're going to a restaurant, it's like, okay, I need a plant and a protein, and it can't be fried.
Although this weekend I got some broccoli that
was
was
fried.
inedible. It was inedible. I think it was rotten.
Oh gosh, well don't eat that then.
Don't eat the
Don't
rotten
eat the
broccoli.
rotten.
I didn't. I just ate the protein.
Right. Do the best with what you have, in
Yes.
whatever the situation. But if you are looking at restaurant menus and stuff like that, it really is, don't be afraid to ask the questions of, you know, can you put that on the side? I mean, I have to ask for like butter and stuff on the side just because of my lactose sensitivity. You know,
Yeah, I mean, they don't care. It's
Yeah.
no skin off your waiter's back if you say no butter, no oil. Most of the time they're preparing all that stuff pretty
Yeah.
individually anyway in a small pan, and so
right. Yeah. So
it never hurts to ask.
it doesn't. And, you know,
The answer is usually yes. They'll do it. It's
Yeah.
Very rarely has somebody
And
said
nowadays, lots of people are really health conscious anyway, so they're probably getting that request all the time. Anyway, so pick those 2 restaurants. You're on the go, quick stops. If you have any questions or need some inspiration, don't forget to post it on the Facebook group and use the wealth of knowledge from everyone, past clients and coaches. I'll try to post that eating out in the Berg guide.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one. And you know, we always learn some good ideas too. So we love
Share
it.
your ideas.
Share yours. Take a picture of your meals and post them on the page because it'll give everybody else some inspiration.
Yes, and post those revamps too.
Oh yeah, I love it when we get some good ideas from, you know, everybody trying out stuff. All right, guys, that'll be it for week 4 Coaches Chat, and we'll see y'all next week for week 5, all about carbohydrates.